History often presents a singular narrative, crediting specific figures with momentous discoveries. When it comes to the discovery of New Zealand, Abel Tasman and Captain James Cook are widely recognized as the first European explorers who encountered this land. However, lesser-known stories challenge this conventional view, suggesting that New Zealand may have been discovered by another explorer nearly a century earlier. The intriguing narrative of Juan Fernandez, a 16th century Spanish navigator, believed to have reached New Zealand in 1576, challenges the well-established story taught in schools and even referenced on New Zealand currency. Traditionally, Dutch explorer Abel Tasman is credited with being the first European to sight New Zealand in 1642, while British navigator Captain James Cook is celebrated for mapping the islands in 1769. This version of history is deeply ingrained in New Zealand's culture and identity. However, the story of Fernandez, who was often referred to as the Wizard of the Pacific for his exceptional navigational skills, introduces a compelling alternative. In 1576, the Spanish explorer embarked on a significant yet largely overlooked voyage from Chile, navigating the treacherous southern Pacific and venturing into unknown waters. According to the Arias Memorial, a document from that period providing a full account of his journey, Fernandez discovered a fertile and agreeable continent. This description, along with others, strikingly aligns with New Zealand's landscape, particularly the Wairarapa and Kaikoura coasts. Coming from the somewhat challenging Pacific Islands and barren Easter Island, where provisions and fresh water were scarce, Fernandez would have likely perceived New Zealand in a completely different light. The lush vegetation and abundant fresh water would have made New Zealand a striking contrast to the less fertile islands he had previously encountered. The Arias Memorial also describes Fernandez's encounter with a fair-complexioned and well-proportioned people, a portrayal that intriguingly corresponds with the Maori of certain regions, further noting their generosity and hospitality. While it is unclear which part of New Zealand Fernandez reached, the Maori of the South Island were known to have lighter skin tones, and given that sailors like Fernandez were often tanned and weather-beaten from their long voyages, they could very well have perceived the Maori as fair-complexioned by comparison. Another key point of contention is that Fernandez is believed to have entered Wellington Harbor, based on an account from Maori chief Aotearoa, who in 1777 told Captain Cook of a foreign vessel that had previously anchored there. This belief is supported by one of the most compelling pieces of evidence, an iron helmet found in Wellington Harbor in 1905, catalogued by Augustus Hamilton. This helmet, dating back to roughly 1580, aligns perfectly with the timeline of Fernandez's voyage, with this particular design being known as a close helmet, a design used through the 16th century. Scientific analysis in 1983 revealed that the helmet was well preserved due to being buried in oxygen-free mud, which prevented typical rust and incrustation from seawater exposure. Experts suggest that the helmet may have been part of an officer's equipment on Fernandez's ship, potentially lost during a sea burial. The helmet is currently being kept in Te Papa Museum's archives, hidden away from public display. Further supporting the theory of Fernandez's early arrival are Maori oral traditions, often overlooked in historical accounts. One such account was recorded by Mohi Ture, a notable New Zealand tribal leader who described an encounter with a foreign vessel around the time Fernandez would have arrived in New Zealand. Mohi Ture's account describes Maori fishermen near East Cape sighting a Spanish vessel just before a full moon, believed to be around December 1st, 1576. Some critics dismissed the story as fairy tale, noting that the Maori referred to the strangers as turehu, or fairy people, due to their white skin. However, the account contains credible details, such as the ship's appearance and timing, aligning with Fernandez's known voyage. Calculations suggest that Fernandez could have sighted New Zealand around this time, with both Maori oral history and Spanish records pointing to an early December arrival. Mohi Ture is very clear in his statement, stating that the arrival of Fernandez was of the same category as with Captain Cook, though much earlier. By integrating Maori oral history with European records, we can likely gain a more comprehensive understanding of New Zealand's past, enriching our view of Maori-European interactions and the broader cultural history of the country. The possibility of Juan Fernandez discovering New Zealand in the 16th century offers a fascinating alternative account that deserves more attention. While some mainstream historians dismiss these claims, the evidence from his voyage, the discovery of the iron helmet, and the support from Maori oral traditions suggest a history that is more complex than traditionally believed. As we continue to explore these alternative histories, it's crucial to think critically about the past and recognize the value of oral traditions in shaping our understanding of history.